everyone, my name is ADC Art Attack and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to do something that has again been requested, and that is how to draw Limit Breaker, if that's what we're going to call him, Goku. Obviously we don't really know the official name for the character as of yet, but yeah, I'm going to show you my way of drawing him, and it's going to be in a tutorial type setting, so it's going to be quite fluid. But with some in-depth details to it. Now I'm going to keep this all in real time because I want you guys to get the best perspective on this and how to do it. And yeah, I want you to, well, I just want to follow, yeah, I want you to be able to follow along with what I'm doing without any time skips. And obviously I'm going to try and fit this into a 15-minute video where possible. So I'm going to do, you know, as best I can. I'm going to go as fast as I can and really get this going. So you know what, I need to zoom in a little bit more because I want you guys to see how I draw the face. And I start my faces the same way every other time. I do this little sort of circle, and then I just map off where the top points are and the side points are, and then I just locate my center point. So I just sort of go down and I say, well, this looks like a good center, so yeah, hopefully that's about right. Maybe a little bit off. I'm not sure about the camera angle. Hopefully we're somewhat straight. I think we are. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. Okay, so yeah, from this point I start to map off where I believe things to be. So I start to work out where I think the eye line is going to fall. So if I think it's going to be on this center line here, I can go along, and depending on the reference I'm using or the image I'm using will depend entirely on where the ear is located, where everything is located. So yeah, in this example I'm going to be doing the ear off in this direction. So what I want to do is quite fluidly just, you know, sort of jot down key areas and get to grips on where things should be. So I start mapping off where I believe certain points to fall. So I know that in the center somewhere down here we're going to find our chin just along here, and then I know whatever falls on the chin line is probably going to be an eye around here somewhere. There'll be another eye that falls just below this line due to the angle. Yeah, so that will go off in that direction. And yeah, this is exactly how I draw, and I want this to be a sort of tutorial different to my usual tutorials. I want this to be similar to my previous video where I show you the fluid way of drawing, the way that an artist actually draws and the way that an artist actually gets to the end result, because no one really draws with a grid, and if they are drawing with a grid and they're doing these measurements, they're not really drawing in a sense. They're sort of cheating, as you would say, because you're measuring exact distances and you're not using your eye enough. You're not sort of working things out for yourself and realizing where things should go. But it is a good way to learn. It is a good way to get the foundations down if you are a beginner. So yeah, I just want to start marking off where I believe certain points to be. So I know that the jawline is usually between these 2 points here, the bottom and the middle point. So over here I can sort of estimate that the mouth is going to be in this gap over here, and it will cross over just where the center line is. And again with the nose, we know that the nose is not too far off of where the mouth is. Now obviously I am drawing this very fast, and I will finalize details and do things once I get to the, you know, once I've got my base down, I can start working out where things should go and where things should be. I also know that there's going to be a bit of a curvature to this, so I know that the eyebrows are going to fall on this line somewhere, so we can play around and figure out where we think they're going to go. So I'm going to guess that they go in here, and that's what art is, a lot of guessing, a lot of sort of approximations. We just sort of say this is where things are going to be, this is where they're going to go, etc, etc. I like to fill out some of the neck area, and that sort of helps me personally when I'm doing my drawings. So what I do is I start mapping off where I believe basic shapes are, and again, you just keep it basic, keep it fluid, keep everything as basic as you can. We're just doing these lines as fast as we can. We don't want them to be neat just yet. We just want to get them very lightly on the paper and just get a good idea and get to grips of where things should go. Now it's important to note that because this is the Limit Breaker mode, his muscles have been exaggerated quite a bit, particularly with Goku. They've exaggerated his muscles quite a bit, so we can have a bit of fun with that. There's no real right or wrong way of doing these muscles because they are just really heavily exaggerated. So we can do this. We can use a guide here to figure out where our shoulder's going to be, and I hope this guide works out well for you guys, because this is honestly the way that I learned to draw, which was just being fluid. And I know it may be hard for some people. I know some people are going to comment and say, you know, start with a circle, then draw the rest, blah, blah, blah. Honest to God, this is the way I learned to draw. You just literally, you need to get something on the paper as quickly as you can. This isn't about thinking. You shouldn't be thinking about what you're doing. You just need to get it down as fast as possible and plan it as you're doing it. Just sort of get to grips with it as you're going. So as you can see here, I've sort of already got a base shape for a head. I know where things are going to go. So now I can start working on these eyebrows. We've got all of these lines that are helping us right now. So it makes everything a lot easier. So let's start with this eye. Now, obviously, not every point is going to be accurate. We will have to play with some areas, and that's okay because this is a rough guide. This is what the rough guide is for. We throw these things down and then we mess around with them after and we figure out where everything goes. So with the eyebrows, I just want to sort of get them just in this one here. I'm a bit shaky as well. I just had a coffee. That was probably not a good idea to be doing prior to drawing. I don't know if anyone else is very sensitive to coffee. I am, and it gets me very shaky, but oh well. So yeah, we just go over here and I'm just going to start planning out where the eyebrow should go. Again, following my rule of thumb where it sort of does a natural curve up to the top of the ear, and then somewhere around here is where the eyebrow will cut off. So we know that it's just going to go in that section over there. And now when I'm doing the eyebrows, or the eyes themselves, I need to figure out the distance between them. So I know that it's just going to come just a little bit outside of where the edge of the nose is. So we can sort of go here, just off center line, and it will just maybe fall just about in line with this bit of the chin. And then I can just map off an eye. So we've got one of the eyes. We've got both of the eyes, in fact. I didn't even realize I did the other eye. What the hell happened there? Okay, well, I did both eyes. Cool. Was I asleep? Did I miss myself doing that one? Alright, I did that eye. I legit do not remember doing that eye. Alright, never mind. Well, anyway, yeah, so I just start doing some more key features that I think should go in wherever. Let's do the eyes anyway, because they're a fun thing to do. So again, follow my rule of thumb. I always start with the weakest side. So my left hand is obviously my weaker side, and because my right hand is going to be covering the right side, so I want to start with the left hand side and then go to the right hand side. Otherwise, I can't get them accurately in place. I won't be able to see exactly where the eyes are, and I can't accurately put them in there. Never forget these little facial grooves. They fall just slightly below the eye, so we just sort of do those, and another one just straight across here. Now we can start to sort of sharpen up the face, because we need to get this face accurate now. So I'm going to go in a little bit harder with the... Yeah, I'm going to go in a little bit harder with the pencil now. And he's got a bit more of a sort of structure to his cheeks just down here. So what we want to do is we just curve it a little bit, and once we get to the bottom, we start to give it a nice flat curve. And then over here, again, same thing. It starts to come in a little bit. Very, very, very slight. Don't over-exaggerate that, because it can go horribly wrong. But you don't want it straight either. And yeah, so there we go. We sort of got what we need. We can start messing around, maybe adding, because this is on camera, so I will get some of this area in here. I don't know, that's off camera, so we don't need to worry about that too much. With the shoulders, we don't need to worry about accuracy here. We can just have fun with it because he is quite bulky, so just play with them. Have some fun with that. Alright, now let's do the hair, because the hair is pretty much going to help us out with... There's like a bee in here. Go away. So yeah, let's do the ear quickly, because that's going to help us just mark up some stuff. And we already know where the ear is going to be because of our eyebrow. And yeah, it's just falling on top of this line here where the hairline is. So yeah, I'm going to fill in these details slightly off center, and it's usually the case with every viewpoint. Slightly off center is where our hairlines fall. Now this one in particular is going to cross over the eye, so we're just going to give it a rough sort of curve here. This one goes off in this direction, and it starts to curve around. And again, once you get to about just cutting off over here, I don't know what this point's really called, but once we start going there, we can give it a nice natural and start to flow with this line here. So we give it a nice one, it goes off in a sharp angle off in that direction. Over here, again, this one's quite straight. It comes down, it starts to curve around and go sort of across the eyebrow into the eye. Now we can just throw that off in any direction. We'll throw it off over here and just go up in the air. And then again, a lot of measuring, you know, because I have a reference. I'm blessed to have a reference here to be using for the, you know, for the drawing. And that's pretty much what you need to be doing. If you're going to be doing Dragon Ball Z, it's already an established series, an established character, Goku. So all you want to do is just grab a reference, because you don't need to freehand. You don't need to be discouraged thinking that these artists you're watching online are freehanding it. They're not. Even me, when I create my original sort of either my original characters, which you guys haven't really seen, or my original Dragon Ball Z references like postures, poses. I'm still taking reference in some way, shape or form. I'm just not using it to the degree of it's a copy. I'm just manipulating it slightly. So I still have the bases, but I'm just slightly manipulating it. So yeah, over here let's just play around with this hairline. Just don't go crazy with it. Sort of, that looks about right. And again, we'll just flow it. And the rest of this is just measuring, guys. The rest of this just all comes down to where does it measure in line with other things. So this one measures over here. The distance, you have to sort of guess it. Come up here and we'll just measure each point. And that's pretty much the way it goes. So guys, this was a very quick tutorial and it was very messy and sloppy. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to time skip as I ink this because it's not a very important stage of the tutorial. And what I'm going to do during my inking stage, and obviously once I finish up doing the pen, doing the pencil, I'm going to, well actually when I finish doing the pencil up, I'm going to actually harden up some of these lines. So I'm just going to manipulate these lines a little bit more, give them a bit more structure to them so I know which ones are my finalized lines. I might even add a little bit of a nose groove in here because I feel this needs a bit more of a sort of pissed off look, you know, a bit more anger to it. So I'm going to give it a bit of that, and maybe down here just sort of add a bit more grooves to the face. These aren't in the reference and that's okay. We just want to play with it a little bit because we want it to be a bit more of our own thing. Again, over here we might do some of this stuff. So yeah guys, I'm going to finish up, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and if it did help you out and if it was a useful tutorial, I know it was very quick, but I think that's what we need. I think we need to, you know, it's about showing you how I learned to draw, and you want to know how an established artist already learned to draw. No secrets or shortcuts or anything. This is the way to do it. So yeah, I figured I'd show you my personal experience and show you how I do it, and hopefully this can help out some people. If it did, please let me know, and leave a comment, a like, a subscription, leave all of that good stuff, and let me know what you want me to do in the next video. Okay guys, I'll see you at the end of the video. Well, I won't see you at the end of the video, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, take care now. Bye bye guys.